Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are ya? It's the Agent Power Huddle from my car edition. So hopefully this goes well. I'm sure it will. I'm supposed to have a guest host today. That's a topic for us. So I'm just going to check over and make sure she is on her way. Our guest host is Cori Perez. And Cori is a realtor, veteran realtor for the last 20 years. And she has there we go. I see her coming in. She has been a realtor for the last 20 years, and she's also a real estate coach, similar to me. So I wanted to, bring you some more value and some more amazing guests. And so I see Cori. She's getting in here now. Hi, Cori. I was just giving a little intro about you.
Wonderful. I love it. I clicked.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I clicked on the link and it took me to a different Zoom room. And I was like,
oh no.
I was like, this doesn't look right. This doesn't look right. We need to
get. I'm so sorry.
No worries. So,
the magic of technology and Zoom, right?
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Well, I was just telling the crew here. First of all, just to remind everybody, Agent Power Huddle is every day. I host every Wednesday, so it's Spilling the Tea with Amy, and all kinds of topics of just how to do, to really run our real estate business well. And Cori agreed to come on. I saw her out in social media land, and I was like, what's she doing out there? And I saw her talking about generating this great concept of generating sellers, really generating homes inventory for her buyers. So taking her buyer pool and finding homes for them that are not necessarily on the market. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm sure that generates some listings as well along the way. So I was very intrigued, and I said, this is the kind of topic we want to be talking about, because we talk about everything on here every week. And this is recorded. So those of us that aren't here live, welcome to the replay. You can catch it on any of the Apple or your local podcast channels, and then you can catch it on YouTube too. So Cori, I was just talking about you. I was saying you've been in real estate for 20 plus years. And you kind of one of your claims of fame I see is generating business organically without spending a ton of money on leads and without a ton of money on cold calling. Did I get that right?
That's absolutely right. Yes.
It's so awesome. This is why we love you already.
Well, thank you.
So I'm just going to really turn it over to you. I'm sure I'll have some questions as we go. And, team, let's ask questions as we go. If you've got them, drop them in the chat. I'll try to help monitor the chat, Cori. And I just want to give you the floor because I'm super excited to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Cori, and I'm up in Washington State. And like Amy said, I have been in real estate since 2002. And pretty much, I got started. My first broker taught me how to write a contract and handed me a phone book. And she was like, get started. And I don't know what I thought real estate was, but in my head, that's not what it was. And so it kind of terrified me. I'm not going to lie. And so it took me a while to kind of find my own way and to realize that I could do things my way, and it didn't have to be the same thing that everyone else was doing. So in about 2005, I started to realize that I could attract people to me instead of me chasing people, basically. And I would do this in like the Thrifty Nickel. I don't know if anyone remembers or had that same sort of like little free paper, but okay, back in the day, before social media.
Back in the day, I remember here in the Midwest, it was called the penny saver.
Okay.
I got you, Cori. I'm with you.
All right. Good. Yes. So it was like I would put a little ad in this free paper, and basically people would come to me and say, okay, I need your help. And as social media came around, it didn't quite click for me at first, that I could do the same things. And then when I started to discover, holy moly, I could do this and people would just kind of flock to me, it opened everything up. And so basically what I do is called reverse prospecting. And essentially it is offering something of value, and people basically raise their hand and just say, I want what you're offering. Some of the time that may be like for investors, I've done like, if get a free list of foreclosures, like investors, whatever, get a free list of foreclosures. And we kind of go that route. And I get investors of all different qualifications, we'll say.
Quality. we get levels of quality with investors.
Exactly. So, you kind of go through it and you kind of figure out like, okay, this is my niche and this is who I'm trying to talk to and this is who I'm trying to attract. And then you figure out your value from there, right? Like, what is it that they need? So what I did a couple weeks ago, I've done multiple times, and it really just flew. Like it just got my inbox popping. Everything was going. So I have this one particular buyer, and I cannot find the perfect property for her. And so essentially what I did was I went out and advertised my buyer. I was like, okay, I have a buyer. I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for, approximately $350. We could go a little bit higher, but this is where she'd like to be. I had 9 sellers reach out to me and offer their property to my buyer. Now, not all of them are ready yet. It's kind of a progression because they're like, they kind of got that like, ooh, someone for my property. Now I got to get my property ready. But, it started off something that how do you say this? It exploded in my brain, right? The possibilities of doing this more and more. And then it kind of opened me up to realize also, when you have a list of off-market properties, you can attract more buyers, right? I have a list of off-market properties. No one else, maybe. I mean, some people may know about it, but, no one else knows about it, essentially. Or that sort of thing. So basically you can attract more buyers that way as well. So it's kind of just a cycle of attraction, really. And so, for me, it is like I attract first-time home buyers, and I do that, through Facebook groups and kind of all of those places. And I love Facebook groups. I love putting people into a Facebook group and talking to them there. I get so many people, depending on what you're posting and who you're attracting. For me, a lot of times the first time home buyers that with the message I'm putting out, I'm kind of trying to make them make the light bulb go off, basically. And so I'm like, okay, did you know in some cases you only need a 580 credit score or a 620 credit score? And I start to talk about those things, and I start to attract people who are like, oh, I'm Credit Karma says I'm a 620, can we do this? And it's like, okay, maybe, but we may need some work, but I'll put them in my Facebook group, and then I will continue to teach them and, answer questions and kind of do all the things. And it creates kind of a loyalty because they see you as someone who kind of opened up their eyes to the possibility that they could even buy something, or, the possibility that this is an option for them. And so it really, between Facebook groups and reverse prospecting, like it is quite the the duo, right?
Yeah.
And
so Cori, I want to jump in if I can, as I love what you're doing. So I want to dig in a little bit more for the group here, if we can, because you are just spilling the nuggets. So that's awesome. So let's start with reverse prospecting. So if you have a buyer you can't find a house for, I have one like this now. I have a buyer now I've been looking for months, right? So, and we probably all have somebody like this. So, and I know what they need. They need a 3-bed, 2-bath. They need 8 acres, right? We know their price point. They have, $450,000 to spend. And they're flexible on like all their terms. So you're basically taking that and you're putting that where? In your Facebook community groups, on your page? Where are you putting that?
So for this particular buyer, I put it directly in the community group that she was interested in. Right. Sometimes I'll do it on buy-sell trade groups, but you get less not communication, but like it's less of a community event, right? Like it's sure. less of a conversational place. And so I really try to go for those community groups that people are talking, oh, this dog is, lost in my neighborhood or whatever, you know. And so even things like, I haven't played with it as much as I would like to, but the Nextdoor app or whatever.
I was just going to say that if you don't have a community group, Nextdoor would be a great place to do this.
Exactly. And it just opens you up to, okay, I'm not going to lie. I had one hater pop on and like, oh, so since everyone is going to be doing your job for you, do you plan to pay us? And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, gosh, and so it made me reconsider for a second, like maybe I'm not doing the right thing. But quickly I had a couple other real estate agents say, no, Cori, you're doing the right thing. Like, this lady is having a bad day, whatever. And then, from there, though, like my response to her was basically just like, are you suggesting that I'm not doing everything for, in my buyer's best interest by asking for help? And like, I had so many more people come to me in the DMs and say like, okay, I didn't want to say anything on the page, so I'm coming to you privately, and when someone comes to you privately and they're in your DMs and they're like, okay, I have a house to sell. I have, I want to buy, but they're talking to you and they've started that conversation. They already like have taken that step. Like this is a good lead, it's not that's someone. Gold. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's gold. They're a hand raiser, right? They raise their hand, but it's because you asked. So that's even better, right? It's because you asked. And now you can engage with them and they can see your personality and you can build that relationship.
Exactly. And there's no other interfering factors at this point, right? We're not talking to 20 real estate agents who all work the same area. They're in my DMs going, okay, I want to talk to you.
Yeah. So now hopefully you find a match, right? You had 9 people in this one example come through and say, I have a house to sell. You only need one, right? Exactly. For this buyer. Exactly. So hopefully there's a match, but whether there's a match or not, what are we doing with the other 8 or with all 9?
So the first, I have to tell you, we found the one and
yay!
One sec. Yes, it was wonderful. But the seller decided that she did not want to work with a real estate agent and literally took an offer that is contingent on someone else selling their house, as opposed to my buyer who was ready to go with a huge down payment and all of this. Even though my fee was being paid by the buyer, it was a whole thing. So that one, I'm still going, she may come back to us when she realizes what she did. She may come back to us. But I have other properties that are finally like getting closer, because they had to get ready and stuff. And so they're becoming available for my buyer now too. And it's freaking great because I mean, when you have a buyer who's like got her options open and it's just a matter of, okay, we need that property to be ready. That's different. I mean, it's exclusive, right? Like no one else knows about these. And so it's just like, okay, we can take our time a little bit. We don't have to rush because we're not competing with all the other buyers.
Yeah, this is like the modern day version of mailing a neighborhood and saying, hey, Bob and Cindy are looking for this. Yep. Can you help me? Like, do you have a home? Do you know anyone? Whatever the script is, right? But you had to write the letter and mail it and wait and hope somebody responded. This is the modern day version and it's more instantaneous. I love it.
Exactly. And it's so like, there is nothing, I'm not going to lie, there is nothing more fulfilling than having these people reach out to you and say like, okay, I want to sell my house to your buyer, because it's like, just, it's mind blowing when it happens, and I've had other buyers that I've done this for as well. And, maybe I get 2 properties for them, but it was that particular one was more of a specialized, kind of like you and your 8 acres, right? Like not everyone has 8 acres. And he was more wanting a view of 2 specific mountains in this general neighborhood, kind of a thing. And so, there's different results, obviously, depending on how open you are with your search.
Yeah. Now, okay, so you're obviously going to see what you can do to match your buyer, and hopefully you'll pick up some additional listings, right, as you build relationships with these other sellers, or match other buyers to them, right, or both, right? Yep. So wouldn't that be awesome? What do you do with all the other inquiries? Because you mentioned, you like to put people in a Facebook group and then educate them, right? Build value through education. Yep. So how do you do that? How do you get them over there?
Well, most of the time most of these people I do friend, right? Like as they kind of give me like a lead or, whatever, my house is for sale or coming up or I want to buy or whatever. Most of the time I friend them, and then I'll either personally invite them or literally go to the group and invite them. So kind of one way or the other, I'm putting them into my Facebook groups. And I haven't, because I live in a world of buyers, like I prefer to help buyers. Most of the time I am dealing with that. So it is something I need to, I guess, probably create a Facebook group for sellers as well. But at this point, I'm just kind of following up with them each. I have my spreadsheet and I'm like, I'm not one. I'm horrible with systems. So my spreadsheet is where it is. So anyway, but
better than nothing. It's better than nothing. I would tell you to get a CRM, but
Exactly.
At least you have a spreadsheet.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is that, with my Facebook groups, and especially for buyers, the way that I look at that, because I am, with me not cold calling, with me not door knocking, with me not putting myself in a position to be a pushy salesperson kind of a thing. I'm not like super aggressive for people. Like I'm not going after you. I'm not calling you every 2 months because you told me, okay, I'll have my credit ready in 2 months. Like, I have people who have been in my group for years. They're still working on things. They'll message me every so often like, okay, Cori, I saw your thing and, I'm still working on it. And I know you were talking to me. And that's kind of part of the magic too, is to spread a message that makes them think you're talking to them, being in their head, essentially. So knowing your audience is crucial.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I love that you're building the value through education. I love that it's just another way, right? And so, and here in Agent Power Huddle and in my coaching, I teach everything, right? That I do. And I do a lot of stuff. Right. But I think it's really important to teach how to generate business organically. And if you're not, and one of the things I talk about all the time is everything works if you work it, but you have to figure out what works for you. So if you know you're not going to cold call and you're not going to door knock, that's okay, but you have to find another way.
Exactly.
So, and it works if you do it. What you do every single day is more important than what you do every so often. So if you're doing this activity, every single day that you work, right? And it's a repeatable thing for you. You're definitely, as you know, because you're having success, you're definitely going to have success. So I love getting that message out.
Yeah.
So Maria's asking Cori, what Facebook groups? Mari, why don't you just ask your question? Because I want to make sure I get it right.
Okay. Hi, Cori.
Hi there.
I was just wondering, in your Facebook groups, like how are you adding value to these groups? Like, give me an idea, like a name of one of the groups, or there's probably just one group for all your buyers, or are they based in locality or local, or that word I'm trying to use.
Right. I get you. Okay. So what I'm doing is essentially I have my one group, which is called Home Buying Made Easy. Originally, it was like it had Yakima County like associated with it. And then I started thinking bigger, and I thought, okay, you know what? I can help more people. It doesn't have to be local, and I can send them, find them an agent, that sort of thing. So I was like, okay, I have about 750-ish people in there. I for a while, until tax time, I was in a position where, I would try not to compete with my agents, and I would win through my agents winning, because I am a broker. So, I have agents who work for me. Tax time came, and it was like, okay, I have taxes to pay that I didn't save adequately for. And so, I started like, okay, I have to sell again. And so then I started growing my group again. And the thing that I find is when you're more consistent, obviously, with the message and helping them, they're kind of more active too, right? And so I had a little period where I kind of fell off, but it was still a place of value in that I would do kind of like first time home buyer Q&A sessions. I would do even like bigger topics, I guess, talking with lenders about credit or savings or, different things that they could do now that they didn't need like hand holding for. And then we would also talk about different things like specific to them, like if someone had a question or something, like we could answer that question in the group, more anonymously, but, help them through that. Does that help?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, it sounds like, okay, so if you have a lender,
mm-hmm.
Are you sharing a video of the lender giving are you sharing like an interview that you're doing with the lender to give some advice? And then from there, conversations being generated, it sounds like.
It is. What we'll do is we'll invite everyone to a Zoom most of the time, and basically bring them in. I'll bring a lender in, that sort of thing. The last one I did, I picked up 2 new buyers who were just like, okay, you answered all my questions. Like, I'm ready to go. Who do you recommend? And so it really kind of varies depending on the audience, what exactly we're talking about because of the questions that they ask and stuff like that. But I like to bring in, I have one lender friend that I've known for years. And so I like to bring her in a lot of times. And she has so many different ideas, and she likes to prospect the way that I do too. So she has different ideas and kind of thinks outside of the box also. And so we'll talk about different things at different times, but it's pretty much always a Zoom, and we invite people to come join us. For my first time homebuyer groups, I don't necessarily record those because, of people's privacy and that sort of thing. Like, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but then at the same time, I want everyone to have the information. So there's a little bit of a balancing act there, with like the right way to go. But it is, I find it for my buyers to be valuable because they're taking enough information away that they know that they can do this now and essentially make a move.
Mm-hmm. And guys, think about this too. What are the questions buyers are asking, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are the questions? I have a 580 credit score. Can I buy a house? Right? That's a topic. That's a post. That's a video. My group knows I'm a proponent of video because people get to see you. I know we don't love it. I don't love it either. But this is how we look and this is how we sound, and people get to see our personality, and that's where they connect with you. You say something, but it's the way you say it, right? And then they go, "Oh, I got to call her or him." Exactly. Right. I got to message them. And that's all of a sudden they slide into your messengers. So, or, whatever, whether you're doing that on Instagram or Facebook, doesn't matter. So just think about the questions. What are all the things you're educating buyers on already? Those are the things that you share in these groups.
Exactly.
So, and I love it.
And one of the other things that's so important is go into other groups. Like if you have a buyer group, go into a first-time home buyer group, like a big nationwide, group, and read the questions, like hear what your people are asking, because you need to be where your people are and you need to know like what they're struggling with in order to do this, because a lot of times they're not asking you directly, like initially what they're, their questions. And so as you kind of create that content and answer those questions for them, even though they're not asking, they're definitely going to be reaching out to you and talking to you and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had another question. How often are you working in these groups, so to speak, or how are you doing this daily?
So since the tax realization, I have been much more consistent in there. I try to post at least like 3 to 4 times a week, kind of depending on what's going on in my world. But I try to be very consistent. I'm trying to post every day, but I know that I'm not doing it every day. So it's a matter of consistency. And another thing I would add is always add a call to action. Like no matter what you do, have something in your post and make it like as easy as possible. If you're on Facebook and you're saying to someone, call me, the likelihood that they're going to call you is like pretty unlikely, right? Because they're scrolling and they're doing their thing. If you give them like, okay, DM me, like, and they're scrolling and you say, DM me, they're more likely to DM you than to get out of what they're doing and call you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Give them something to do, that they can do, even if it's just message me for more information. Exactly. So, and then they know that they can message you privately too.
Yes.
And a lot of times people don't want to have, to your earlier point, they don't want to have these conversations publicly.
Exactly.
They don't know who's watching or who's going to see it later. Sometimes it's one spouse isn't ready to tell the other spouse that they're thinking about buying a house.
Exactly.
So they don't even want their friends or family or their spouse to know. I just put a house under contract for a buyer and I posted about it because I wanted to tell the story. But I didn't use her name on purpose because she's not ready to let people know that she's buying a house. She just wants it to be private. So there's a lot of that too. So I think that, having those call to actions where they can just get to you in a private way does attract people because they know, okay, you're creating a safe space for them.
Exactly. And it's, it's so interesting when you can attract people to you because there's this level of trust already built in because they have seen you. They've seen you on video. They know that you're their person based on the things that you're already putting out, especially if you're doing video. I love to tell coaching clients, like, do not, and it may sound bad, like some people may not think it's great, but do not edit your videos. Like put them out there, your ums and ahs and whatevers, because that's what people, if you cuss, like, well, crap, but people, exactly. But when you're out showing someone a house and you're like, holy crap, and they're like, I didn't, I mean, okay, obviously that's not cussing, but you get the drift, right?
Yeah.
So you want them to feel like they know you and know the real you, not just the professional on person.
Yeah. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So let them get to know you through social media and then build this parasocial relationship with you. And it's the same person they're going to meet when they meet you in person.
Exactly.
Not the edited version, not the edited, polished up version. So awesome. I love it. All right. Well, first of all, Cori, you want to throw out, if we want to connect with you, where would we do that?
Well, I have a real estate, a group for real estate agents as well. And I would love, for you guys to come and play with me inside that group as well. It is called Lead Generation and Business Building Strategies for I think it's agents, brokers, and realtors. I may have left realtors off. But if you look up lead generation, you'll probably see my face.
Yeah. If you want to drop me either in the chat here or in Messenger, the link, I'll make sure we get it attached to this when we post the replay.
Okay. That sounds great.
Yeah, we'll do that. And that way we can connect with you there. I love it. Thank you for your time today. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And I want to connect with you offline too.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Absolutely.
Awesome. Very good. Thanks again, Cori. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.